You're watching Roots TV Nigeria as we count down to February 16. Now, the president is promising to do a whole lot more if he wins re-election with his manifesto, The Next Level. He has been campaigning hard from state to state, trying to convince the electorate to give him another 4 years to perfect his plans. Today on the show, we are talking to a member of the Buhari media organization who is here to explain the next level and then to answer questions on so many burning issues concerning the president. Example, his health. A lot of people have, been questioning about the president's ability health-wise to continue leading the nation should he win re-election, and so many other issues that have been coming up, especially as you go to the polls February 16 to cast your vote. These are the information that you need to make those decisions. At this point, I would like to introduce to you our guest in the studio. He is a representative from the Buhari media organization, the person of Yohannes Toby Wujuola. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. A pleasure.
All right. Okay. So, Toby, we are going to be answering, or I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions that have been burning in the past few days, especially those that are coming up from, people who are thinking about voting for the president, giving him another 4-year mandate, and then a lot of things popping up on social media. Now, the basic thing, and I would say right now, as of in the past 24 hours, the major concern some people have, especially from the opposition, is the president's state of health. Now, let me build this up for you. I don't know if you have heard the Coalition of United Political Parties, the CUPP, has said they are filing a suit at the Federal High Court challenging the president's mental state, his stability, his ability to, lead the nation should he get another 4-year mandate. A lot of hullabaloo have come up based on that. So I am asking you right now, you are close to the president, you are part of the media organization, you have been part of his campaign. How stable is the president, considering that on various rallies we have seen him stumble, we have seen him miss people's names, give a flag to a completely different person, we've seen him disoriented in some of his speeches. For people who are saying that he may not be stable, how do you answer that?
I think, first of all, it's good to have a broad picture of everything, and then you can understand when you're talking about health matters.
All right.
You've had the president who has visited over 20 states in 2 weeks campaigning. That already tells you that in terms of physical fitness, he is definitely fit. If you're one who travels and if you're one who goes on campaigns, trust me, you get fatigued in 3 days.
He's in his 70s though.
In 3 days. But this is a man that has visited at least 20 states. Yesterday he visited 2 states. We have days that he visits 2 states, some days he visits 1 state. Any human being, including yourself, including a 10-year-old, including a 30-year-old, including a 50-year-old or a 70-year-old, will be fatigued. You cannot take that away. But yet he has been consistent. So it shows that he's even fit than more people think he is.
All right.
And even most Nigerians have.
Okay, can I
now?
Okay, go ahead.
Let me address some of the key issues.
Sure.
Especially in terms of context. The flag handing. I think we need to understand that the president is meant to hand a flag to certain people, the candidates and all of that. He may not necessarily have a personal relationship with those people, and I don't think anybody expects him to, because he has his governance. This is states, this is local government structures and senatorial structures. It is whoever is brought to him that he hands the flag over. And we had one of the instances, we had somebody who wasn't the person coming there to stand beside him. And so what would you expect him to do? But to hand over the flag to the person who is standing beside him. And
so it's just basically breach of protocol.
It's a breach of protocol.
I see.
It has nothing to do with the president's mental health.
All right.
Nothing. The president is actually, I think we are being extremely hyper partisan. Nigerians are being extremely hyper partisan and being too suspicious.
Okay,
because let's look at this.
All right.
The president has most of in fact, all of his rallies, delivered his speeches extempo. He hasn't read any speeches. He has gone there, and he was articulate yesterday as well.
It's impressive that you're using the word articulate, considering his opponent, his main opponent uses that word a lot.
That is why well, articulate. We'll call
Is that English word? Is that English word?
But he has delivered his speeches with clear understanding of his vision.
May I bring to your attention? You know, I watched the debate. The candidates, if I have to say. And, yes, and one of the things that a lot of people kept asking and, you know, really came up, especially not just on social media, even the opposition and even, you know, just basic analysts kept wondering. A lot of times, may I finish?
No, I know where you're headed
yes, because a lot of times people said he referred more to his vice president, Oshibajo, for questions that he should have had answers to. He felt disoriented. A lot of people seemed he was disoriented. And then there were situations where he used the word, I'm not aware, I'm not aware, I'm not aware. And a lot of people kept thinking, you are the president, you should be aware of a lot of
Give me those instances where he was not aware. It was only the disability bill. That was the only instance that he said he was not aware. And I'll give you context for that because I was seated the second row, on the second row. So I was there, I watched everything from beginning to end. And I had to even make a complaint to the organizers.
Why?
There was only one speaker in the room. And the speaker was right behind me. And you had a situation where the president was seated somewhere. In front of Kaderia was here.
Yeah, and they were sitting opposite each other.
The VP was here. It may have looked from, you know, a pictorial angle from we watching it on, or those who were watching it on TV, like they were just by themselves, but there was some form of distance. And when Kaderia spoke on the microphone, we heard it clearer than he heard it. Okay,
so you're saying there could be a technical issue,
the president
there was. Because he felt like he wasn't hearing.
Yes, there was. And
he couldn't hear
and I'll show you that during the breaks, there were complaints, speak louder. We can't hear you.
I see.
So this is the background. I was in the room with the ministers and all aides and other people who had come independently to watch it work.
Because it seemed like he just wasn't understanding what the question was, or he wasn't getting it.
To be fair, you need to juxtapose this with his Arise TV this thing. The questions were clear. He answered the questions. He gave very, very straight to the point answers on his views, his vision, the issues he believed on. He talked about the IG. The IG's issue was, he said, I was going to act on it. And in the next, in less than 2 weeks, he did act on it.
All right, let me paint a scenario for you. And you just tell me what you think about that and whether this has any merit. Now, I have heard a lot of discussions or debate on this. Now, the CUPP, as I told you earlier, is challenging his mental stability and his ability to lead should he get another 4-year mandate. Now, I know the Constitution does not really mandate that, according to what the CUPP is requesting, that he should have a general health test or make his health info public. But the Constitution requires that whoever is going to be the president should be mentally fit. And while it does not say he has to prove so, if someone does challenge the mental fitness or the fitness at all of any leader, goes to court to challenge, and there is evidence that such a thing does exist, overwhelming evidence, I'm going somewhere, and there is evidence, then the court will direct INEC to disqualify this person. This is what should happen on a normal basis. Now, here is what some people are building up. Here are some of the, questions coming up. First of all, this is a president who in mid-2017 spent about 103 days outside of the country, even leading to people insinuating that he may have died. And then on several occasions, even just recently in July, thereabout, August of 2018, he had to take another 10-day leave to go check his medicals. You know, he has often and on had to check his medicals, which may not be abnormal. But then you have a president whose health issues have consistently come up, and he has never really ever said, this is what's wrong, this is what's happening. Nobody is addressing. Do you not think that people who have this worry about his mental capacity and his health capacity have a reason to be worried?
I think I'll first say COP is a rogue group. What they're playing is simply dirty politics with anybody's health. And in this instance, the president, unfortunately the president. The president took a 10-day break out of 1 year. 1 year. 365 days of work, 10-day break. Is that fair? I think that is fair for any human being. And for someone who is 70, that is more than fair. I think Nigerians are being extremely partisan, extremely suspicious, and that remains a stand, because we are not placing facts in context.
Why does the president not address his health issues?
When he came back from his the UK medical trip,
yeah, for 100.
he made a comment as to it. I was very sick. I have never been this sick in my life. And I think when we talk about health issues, it remains a private matter.
I see.
It remains, yes, it does remain a private matter.
Even if he's the number one citizen.
Absolutely.
Like I said to you, I completely agree. The Constitution doesn't say otherwise, but he's the number one citizen.
You see, even when you go back to the Freedom of Information Act, that says make proactive disclosures, that says seek information. Where it comes to issues of health, health records, it says that is a private matter. And it is left for the person in question to disclose at his discretion.
Interesting. You know,
all those whole insinuations being made are being made because in politics, there's the belief that when you pull down a person in his image and existence, you win an upper ground. The opposition believe that pulling the president down and making questions as to his physical fitness and his mental fitness.
It's resonating.
It's not, because it's the opposition. This is the opposition anthem. And what we're discussing right now is an opposition anthem. It is far from the facts as far as we are concerned, as far as we know. It is far from the fact, but we are rather discussing the opposition anthem. They are the ones. COP, for instance, is what? It's opposition. It's a coalition of opposition parties. They are sponsored by opposition. That's why I call them a rogue group.
Of course, but then you have to come to terms with the fact that in every election there are going to be opposition and they're going to have their ideas as well.
Fine. That's what I'm saying. It is fine, but it does not take the reality away that it is far from the facts.
And the burden of proof is now yours to prove that reality or present that reality.
You say, and that is where you mentioned evidence, and I had to catch you by that word, evidence.
That's what I said.
You see, evidence, today, I'll give you an example. Today is 6th of February.
Yes.
Aki Oshutokun, a former staff of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who is more or less a spokesman of Atiku, was on TV today. And you know what he said? He said the president was out of the country for 4 years. 4 years. And you know what? They had to correct him. Sorry. No, he was saying that the president is not fit. He's mentally not fit. He has been making gaffes. The president was out of the country for 4 years. 4 years. And they had to tell him, sorry, sir. 4 months, not 4 years. Oh, I made a mistake. You see, nobody is beyond errors. Even those who comment on it are not beyond errors. And we need to, we are forgetting one thing, and that is the issue of context. And that is what the opposition in all their commentaries are doing, taking issues out of context. You have a man who is 74 years, 75 years.
Well, some people actually have a problem with that, saying he's a little too old.
That is their business. You have the other candidates
is around that same age, thereabout.
We have lots of instances of presidents around the world who are in their 70s and are doing very fine. We have a man who works consistently. The VP has personally told me, and I posted that on my Twitter once, and said, there are 4 things I love about the president. 1, humility. 2, his love for Nigerians. 4, his hard work and his determination. Now, when you're talking about hard work, that is a precedent. And I just gave you an instance. 20 states in less than 2 weeks. That's how many days.
He's running for re-election. He has to.
So I'm only letting you know that he's human. What we are trying to paint here is a robot. What we are trying to create here is a robot that can run his whole re-election, run a country, run all the files they have to be brought to his table, and not have any issues, and not make any fatigue, and not have no fatigue.
And that is not important. I understand that we're going
even the opposition candidate ran away to Dubai for 2 weeks in Dubai, for 2 weeks in December to do what? Health treatments. So we can't. And how many states has he visited? He takes maybe 1 state in every 3 days. He can't do what the president is doing. I can tell you that he can't. We have a president, for me, and from my observation of him, is more fit than any presidential candidate.
All right, we need to move to another thing because we have so many on the table, a lot of questions on the table, and a lot of issues. Let's move on to corruption. I mean, the president has made fighting corruption his mantra, and most recently we saw with the saga of the embattled CJN and the replacement of Onogan with Tanko Mohammed. That has raised a lot of dust, even internationally. That has happened.
Dust.
It's raised a lot of dust. No, you can't say this is just opposition. We've got the UK who have expressed, the EU, yes, EU has expressed concern. The US has expressed concern of the handling, not necessarily about fighting corruption, but of the handling. And let's not forget. Let's not.
That would be wrong. I have to correct you there. The expressed concern of the timing.
The US expressed concern of the timing.
Yes.
The EU election observation
because they feel it's an issue
as well.
It's an issue of the timing.
With all due respect, is that not valid? With all due respect, is that not valid?
I don't think
is that not valid?
My simple answer to that
is
there's no right time or there's no wrong time to do the right thing.
Absolutely, there's no wrong time to fight corruption, but you must have to fight corruption the right way. Now, all I'm saying, we're derailing a little bit. I just wanted to say that everything has gone round in circles to end where it was meant to end, NJC, which was where it was supposed to start from day one.
Did you hear of the judgment of the Court of Appeal?
That is what I'm telling you. It said
the Court of Appeal said go back to the CCT
and the CCT, and then the CCT obviously
and the CJN has not appeared.
You know what's funny? I don't even want us to go to that part. I want us to go to a completely different environment where we're derailing. I was just being a basis. Trust me, we have had conversations here on Roots TV for over nine episodes of that. I know if we go back into this one, it's going to take us far away from what we're talking about. What I'm trying to get to is, with all of the fight against corruption, some people say it's very selective. Reason is simple, and I'm not going to go even far beyond any other person. Kano State Governor Ganduje. This video, these allegations of him having collected bribe, and nothing has been done. He has not even received a single, maybe EFCC invitation or something of that.
I don't want us to be.
I just raised one example. Do you want to?
Because that's a mistake we're making, and I think we must be informed on issues. Ganduje is a governor of a state.
And
he's protected by the Constitution. Immunity. This is as basic as I think it's section 305.
The president has not even listen.
The president commented on this issue two times.
No, you see, here's my problem. Here's my
problem. Commented on it 2 times. What do you want him to continue to say?
The problem that a lot of Nigerians have is you have a situation that is glaring on your face, and then there is an immunity clause everybody is running into, and then there is a case where someone, I am not saying what he did is right, he did the wrong. I mean, obviously, you cannot
compare oranges and apples.
What are you talking about? Both of them are fruits. No, they're not. Both of them are fruits.
They're both public officials, but they have different. They have different sectors of the creation.
So one is holier than that. One is
you're getting
the
it wrong.
other.
I think you should let me explain this to you.
I am going
it's
to
very important you
Go
understand
ahead.
this. You're talking about the CJN. You're talking about a governor of a state. Both, there are corruption allegations against both. But the Constitution creates the office of the CJN and creates the office of the governor and gives them different powers, different responsibilities, different protections. The protection for a governor, and I'll tell you this, it's called immunity clause.
We get that.
It protects 2 categories of people, or let me say 3 categories of people, or 4 maybe. The president,
of course,
the vice president,
yes,
governors,
yes,
and their deputies.
Yes.
And what does he say? You cannot hold them for any criminal charge while
they are still in office.
There's an allegation of a criminal offense against the governor of Kano State. As far as the Constitution is concerned,
he has immunity and nobody can do anything.
Be prosecuted
at the moment.
At the moment. And let me be able to throw more light on this so that we're informing people and people understand what is happening.
Of course.
No court can sit on this matter
until he